Hello, everybody, and welcome to Romantically Lit, where we get down and dissect all things Black love in literature. I'm your host, Odelia.
And I'm your host, Hannah.
Thank you for joining us on our very first episode. We are super excited to do this. As two undercover hopeless romantics ourselves, we find ourselves enthralled in all things romance, especially when it has to do with Black love. And there's never been a better platform or better way to look at it than through books. And why not dissect all the great Black authors that there are across the diaspora and thank you for joining us as two best friends as we do that.
Best friends.
Yes, best friends.
I'm kidding. I guess we can dive into the treat that we have for this week. We are going to be reading Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. I hope I said her name right. You know, I'm from East Africa. We don't have those kind of names. Anyway, she's a queen in every right. Some of y'all may know her from one of her most popular books, which is Love and Color. I suggest you read it. It's just a bunch of short stories that dive into different, I guess, Greek mythologies or different mythologies around the world, and she sort of modernizes them because she's a rom-com connoisseur. So you can just imagine what
She's
each of those things.
self-proclaimed, by the way, a rom-com connoisseur.
Yeah.
I would definitely check out her Twitter. It's hilarious. Yeah, and as Hannah said, she's written Love and Color, and it was a great read. So if you have not read that, we would recommend checking that out. So we felt like it was a great place to start by looking at her book that just came out, Honey and Spice.
Yes.
So for this week, we're just going to look at the first 8 chapters, and every week following, we're going to do 7 to 8 chapters until we get to the end of the book. Um, Thank you for joining us on the ride, and we hope you have as much to say about it as we do. So let's get right into it with chapter 1.
Okay. So, chapter 1. Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I guess we can just start by naming the characters or what's happening. So essentially, where are we? I don't know what
We are in a pastoral land. No, really, that's how to describe it. Anyway, it's this very, very prestigious university, college, or something alike to that, in I guess it's very far away from the city. When I think about it more of like, in Dear White People, those type of colleges, like very prestigious, very top notch, very few Black people in there.
Yeah, I did get a similar vibe when reading it. It did feel, a lot of the chapters did really feel like Dear White People, more the Netflix show, less the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are in England though. That's what I've gotten for sure, and you can kind of tell by the different kind of Black people she describes in the books.
Also the lingo, like
and
mandem, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah. Obviously she is British Nigerian, or Nigerian British rather, and why not write about anything other than what you are or your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it starts out like that. Like Hannah said, we're in a PWI, and I think that's just the basis of our main character's dilemma. Her name is Kiki. So she kind of knows all and every single Black person on campus. I don't know how she keeps up with all of that. I feel like there might be one too many to know, but she knows all the details, who's dating who's seeing who. And she's a sophomore. I remember that much. But yeah, so she's a sophomore, and we meet her, and she's in a very awkward position to start.
Yeah, awkward is how I describe it too. I too have found myself in these kind of situations. you know, and she did blame it on ovulation. So yeah, I guess it was her time of, the month where, she was feeling a little frisky. She goes to some man's, I guess, dorm room flat or something. And as she's there, she's sort of questioning why she's there. We don't get the name of the guy that she's with, but she blames it on ovulation. And I've been there, done that. So
I don't want to admit my sins, but we've also been there. And yeah, she refers to him as my guy, and all the vibe you get from my guy is that he is no word of a lie an ass. Like he seems empty headed. He just cares about his body, and he thinks his body is enough to get him any and everywhere. I think he's light skinned, and that plays into that as well. And she describes him as someone who this is not his first time being one of like the sole black people in a school environment. He went to a predominantly white school, so that kind of plays into how he does things. One thing I respect about my girl Kiki, every time, we've all been there where you're with someone you're not supposed to be with, but you're just there entertaining yourself, and then that moment she's like, "Why am I here?"
Mm.
And gets up and goes. And you know what? I have to give it to her for that one because he tried all the moves that guys normally do to get you to stay, to finish what you came there to do. But my girl said, you know what? I gotta get self respect, and I guess that starts today. So that was nice. So we kind of get an idea that she is kind of strong willed, which is a little ironic when you later on find out who my guy is.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, so we see her and she finally leaves after a back and forth with this guy. She does consider going back because she left her best friend's lip gloss, which is like, girl, why did you even? You know what? And I will say though, at that part, I was like, you should probably go back and get that because I know I would.
Now, for me, it depends. Is it Fenty or is it the drugstore?
Even if it's the drugstore, like I lose my lip gloss all the time. So first of all, I would never lend my lip gloss to a friend. I don't know, but because lip gloss is one thing, but But anyways, I would have gone back. I know she had stormed out, but I personally would have gone back. So we after she's gone, she bumps into someone in the hall as she's trying to sneak away. Cause in knowing everybody and everybody knowing who's with who, you don't want to get caught at whoever's dorm and start rumors. She bumps into a black face that she's never seen, and she knows every single, or makes it sound like she knows all the black people on campuses. She knows all the groups. She knows who hangs out with who's with who. She knows who's on that specific dorm room floor. So she bumps into what I have to assume is our love interest.
Oh yes, our love interest. I think she describes him physically in that moment. I know that he is a pretty handsome, dark-skinned man with just glowing skin, a hairline. In my head in that moment, I was thinking, oh, this is that part in the movies where it's in slow-mo ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she is curious, but also like attracted, and also like I don't know. Like I think there's a lot of emotions going on in that moment. Um, Obviously, they have a slight interaction, which makes a lot of sense because later on in the chapters they sort of bring it up, so it becomes almost like their thing now. I forgot what the interaction. I don't know what exactly the words were, but I think she says something about like a superpower. I don't know. Do you remember that?
I do remember her mentioning a superpower. She brings it. Oh, like I believe she says like her superpower. Later on, she mentions her superpower being like the ability to sense like essentially f boys. Like she can tell
Yeah.
who's who,
Mm-hmm.
and she claims she has a good filter of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny enough because again we're literally seeing our girl leave the room
Mm-hmm.
of somebody she should be avoiding, but she claims that's what's happening because she can tell homeboy is about to go meet someone. She just doesn't know who. But what she does know, even though she doesn't want to admit to herself, that she's attracted to him. Um, and that is how we meet Kiki. So immediately we know what's happening with her on that sense. And Homeboy is headed to a different girl's room. I do remember they give each other, or rather, she gives him a fake name. He doesn't, and I think he follows suit. I don't remember what their fake names were.
I can't remember either.
But it kind of works out because like the girl who he's there to see, she like opens the door and calls her kind of. I don't think she calls her by the right name. Like she knows who she is, but Kiki describes herself because she's kind of private. and she doesn't really date like that or openly.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really takes her as someone like, oh, she could be going to see anybody on this floor. She even makes up a lie, and it doesn't seem like the girl cares at all why she's there. Like, she just kind of wants the guy that she's talking to get to her room so they can start their evening. Um, but yeah, but from there we see Kiki go to, I think what I deem the most interesting thing about her, and is very, and this is where it sounds like Dear White People, is the fact that she runs this radio show
Yeah.
called Brown Sugar, which just made me think about the D'Angelo song the whole time.
It made me think about the black rom-com Brown Sugar with Sanaa Lathan and Ty
I've actually
Diggs.
never seen that one.
Yeah, and he runs a radio show. Like,
Oh, does he actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's basically a musical producer, a producer of some sorts. And there's some some radio stuff. She actually wrote. I think the love interest in Lathan writes a book, and then she's like gets interviewed by a radio show, or she's actually the host of the radio show, one of the two. But that's where my mind went to instantly. I'm just like looking very familiar.
Yeah, but I'm sure she makes reference to the fact that it's either about wait, I swear the D'Angelo song is for that movie though. Or am I?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay, well I have to double check that.
Okay.
But funny enough, she like, I don't remember what song she intros to, but her producer for the show is her best friend. I don't remember her name. Amina. Okay, so Amina is the daughter of what she describes as like rich Nigerian parents, but she doesn't hang around the other rich Nigerian kids. They bumped into each other first year, when they were in the hallway, and some white guy said something kind of dodgy to them that was race related, and they kind of chased him out. And from there, Amina decided that they were going to be friends, and Kiki just went with it because, she describes herself. The book's written in first person. She describes herself as quiet, like keeping to herself. So it only made sense that Amina would decide for the two of them that was the journey that they were going to go to, and they've been together ever since. They both, I believe Amina's getting some kind of degree within like media marketing or something of that sort. So doing the radio show kind of counts as one of her credits. And then Kiki she likes. Oh, what is she doing?
I think she's somewhat something similar to what Amina does, but then she's also doing the show for those same reasons, to get credits for something else.
Yeah, because later on when she talks about the internships, because she wants to do like, I feel like it's in the same realm of writing culture, but like about the Black experience specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So the show fits right in, because the show is kind of like her own way of empowering Black women. Like, she's just out here, giving advice. And that's where her first dilemma is, because she's not the only person who's met this mystery man on campus.
It seems that he's quite popular amongst the galdem.
All the sisters are like...
They say, who is this fine piece of man, and how can I get him?
And I think that's the problem, because he was like the one lion in the pack.
Yeah.
And all lionesses wanted him, and he's dipping and dabbling in every single pond, and it's turning the women into... And this is part sometimes I'm like, where's the sisterhood? Like, can y'all not see that he's playing all of you? Because now it turned... What she describes is like, because in coalition with the actual radio show, she has a website, and like you can post your questions there, and kind of like Reddit. And what she normally describes is like a nice place to, if you have a question, people are gonna be like, yeah, go girl, yeah, support you, even relationship stuff. Now everybody's talking about, you should get your own man, you should do this. And her and Amina are just like, what is this
going on?
But because Kiki's already seen this guy, and she's not as sly as she thinks she is, as she tries to tell Amina about this person, she's trying to act like she doesn't know him. Or she's not that interested. She knows exactly who it is that's causing all the trouble among the women on campus. And that leads to her putting out a little message for him.
Yeah. Well, I think he's described as very, I guess, talented at being a playboy, or very skilled at it.
Yes.
I think he's from my perspective, it seems like a guy who would love bomb you. You know what I mean? He's gonna take you out to Cheesecake Factory, then maybe make you see the skyline that night, giving you false promises or sweet nothings. I mean, sometimes when it's cold outside and you're in a drought, of course, you can fall into those traps, but all the girls, every single one of you, so y'all don't have a major group chat talking about who's dating who knows what, because I would have figured it out immediately if I'm being played. But that's how it's being described by our male protagonist. So she goes onto a little social media. And she's like, She's like, I think I know who this person is. I feel like I've met him. But obviously, at this point, readers, you'll know that there's gonna be we all know she's gonna be part of the play as well. You know what I mean? Because she
Obviously.
finds him attractive and she's curious about him, and he's very smooth because that interaction that they had when she was jumping out of my guy's flat. So of course, for someone like me, that gets me all tingled up because now I know, I can sort of like assume what's gonna happen next.
Oh yeah, because we're like creating conflict. Also,
Exactly.
side note, the way they found his Instagram so quickly,
Yeah.
I didn't inherit that skill that the rest of you got, where you like you can just tap tap one connection, two connection.
Boom.
Like the most
Found
I
him.
can do is 3.
Yep.
So I know there's girls out there who you don't even need a name. You just need where was he, who could he have possibly been with, and you found him. I also get that, like, of course, if it's on campus, like it's a smaller group to search for. But I would have given up so quickly. Like I'm not even lying. But yeah, you can tell the tension's coming.
Yep.
And we're supposed to not like this quote unquote player, but you know what? Who doesn't like a player here and there? Like we shouldn't, but we do,
Yep.
and that's just what it is. Um, yeah, and it's a so she basically tells all the girls to find some self respect and not to be arguing with your fellow neighbor over some man who's clearly, the village bicycle. Because if he's going around so many girls, he's basically that.
Exactly. Community.
Yeah, community. But yeah, so that's the end of chapter 2. The first couple chapters are kind of short. I think it's more just discovering who Amina is. Like, we know that she's Nigerian, or I'm sorry, not Amina. Well, I guess
Kiki.
Amina coincide,
Yeah, all
but
characters.
Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
We know that she's Nigerian. We know that she's in her second year university. We know that she's doing something media-esque. That's how she met her best friend. And then we also know that there's one black prof on campus who is her mentor and is helping her through the rest of her schooling and is offering her an internship or helping her to apply for an internship in New York, which she describes it as the coming at the perfect time. There's something similar going into university and she just was not ready. I guess she says she was distracted. We have to assume it was because of a man. Mm-hmm. Because one thing about men is
they'll derail you from your destiny.
Listen,
I'm Kiki right now. I'm warning all you ladies out here. How many traps can we fall into?
Many. So with that, she decides, she thinks she's all set. Like listening to it sounds like she's got everything
under control.
Mm-hmm. But her prof basically tells her that she needs to do a little more to make brown sugar something worth appealing to the people who are going to review her application, like how she changes her media form.
Yeah.
And like we just described, it's basically what do they call it? Like Aunt something, where you call in or you give advice. And obviously her advice is very tailored to a specific audience and a very specific way you speak. So she tells her to expand on that. And from that very moment, I was like, oh, I know what she's going to do. She's going to invite Mr. Man on the podcast.
Boom.
Like it
clicks
immediately. And then the prof says, oh, there's somebody who's doing a film thing.
Exactly.
I want you to work with.
We can put this. We can stitch everything together right now.
It's been caught, and at this point, we know she doesn't know who she's going to be doing the project with, but we know the player on campus is Malachi.
Yep.
That's actually one of my favorite boy names.
And okay, that's great. Malachi is listen, folks. I don't want to say anything. Don't get me into trouble, but those are biblical names, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I can chime in here. A lot of the guys that I have had relations with in the past have all had biblical names, and they're very far from the word of God in terms of their behavior. So that's just my POV. Okay, that's just how my destiny has been formed for me. So I stay away from the Malachi's, the Isaiahs. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's a personal experience. I'm not gonna valid.
Right.
Valid.
Okay.
Still love the name though. Still
Good.
all love here. Um,
One thing I want to say about chapter 3, though, I actually do like the very casual, informal relationship that she has with, I think the professor's called Dr. Miller.
yeah.
Their interaction, obviously, like, in my mind, I'm thinking of her as like this very, almost like bougie, but not really, stylish mentor who is here to like give you proper advice. In my mind, I feel like she has like cat glasses on and she talks
Oh,
in a
I can
certain
see
way.
that.
Like
Yeah.
that's a sense that I'm
I
getting
can
from
see
Dr.
that.
Miller. And of course, like Kiki loves her because I think she allows her to be open and very honest about how she's doing and what's going on in her life and what she wants to do in her career and stuff. So I kind of like that. It's very good to have representation in, especially like institutions like that. You know what I mean, where things are predominantly one tone, meaning plain. If you get my drift. So it's nice to have a little bit of somebody there who's vouching for you, essentially. And of course, Dr. Miller really believes that she'll be able to secure this internship if she just took these few little steps to get there, making her better, essentially. So I really like the relationship that they had there. And she seems very funny and very sarcastic as well. Like the whole like coffee thing that she's not allowed to, when she brought the coffee to Dr. Miller in the office.
Right.
And Dr. Miller's like, well, I can't accept this because, bribery or whatever the rules are for her being who she is. But I like how they played around with it because they're friends. That's your mentor and everything. So love that. I feel like that was pretty much the whole of chapter 3, was just like giving us an idea of what Kiki wants, where she thinks she is right now. Of course, like bringing the idea of that she's going to be working with this guy that she met,
Yeah.
outside that flat.
Yeah.
So we're starting to make a little bit of progress here, but we can stitch a little bit of the stories. At the end of the day, none of these scenarios are net new. Like I've definitely seen them in movies, read them in books, so I'm able to place 2 and 2 together. And then we land into chapter 4, and I believe this is where, is this the party scene?
We get introduced to the whole idea of their like Black Student Union. They
Okay.
call it something else, the ACS.
Mm.
And from what I remember, it starts off like when she arrived on campus, they kind of hung out, they kind of did their thing, but they didn't have like their own organized like school night or anything. You know, everybody knows that every club on campus has their like club night that you gotta do to, one, to raise money for your club, which I always hated, and then two, just because you're in university and you need somewhere to go. Um, so the ACS here is ran by this not so great guy called Zachary Kingsford. He is the leader of it. She does not describe him as someone. He comes off really condescending with her, though she does have. I can't lie. She has a very "I'm so tired of everything" attitude, because
Yep.
we like meet her and she's or in this chapter when she's talking about it and how it came to be, she's talking about how Mina basically dragged her to this one of their like general meetings or whatever, and they're going over ideas and whatnot, and she makes a point of like outwardly thinking. You know when you're thinking, you say what you're not supposed to say out loud, but you say it and you say it loud enough where everybody hears you.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach basically says, well, if you're so like keen on doing something for the ACS, what is your bright idea? And she's like, just host like a club night. Like, we're the only group who doesn't have a club night. Like, we can just do this, a place for us to hang out where we don't have to face like being told no sneakers at the door, or we're too loud or too ratchet or whatever, like just for us, by us. The problem is Zachary Dunn says, okay, you plan
Zachary.
it. That's Zachary to me, okay? She says, you plan it. Or he says, you plan it. And she's not with it, but she doesn't. And from what it sounds like, it's still one of the greatest nights on campus. It works out because she comes up with the ideas, but the ACS helps her fund it and like with the logistics, and it's still going on. And then from where we're meeting her at, she and Amina are heading to the party where she kind of like spends her time not actually partying. She kind of just patrols that everything's going okay. Uh, and she's, make sure everybody's having a good night. And
Yeah.
again, she describes herself as like the neutral of the campus.
Yes.
She floats around groups, but she doesn't really have a group. Her and Amina are, just on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that vibe. I feel like I was like that in university. I feel like I've always been like that. I don't have like a group per se. I've also never really understood the clique thing. So when she's describing like the different groups, like there's the very like Zen black girls, and then there's like the Slay Queens. I don't know what else to call them, but like,
think of Mean Girls. When Lindsay Lohan was saying, when she was being introduced to this school, and then the freaks that she was with, they were going table by table trying to like connect people. That's exactly how I describe, I guess, the cliques that are happening at this university, or even within the black group of people.
Right, like she even just calls like the Bible study babes, which made me giggle a little bit, like just because I know what they look like.
Don't we?
But my question was even, why are the Bible study babes at the, why are they at Freaky Fridays?
Like, listen, we're Beyonce saying church girl. She don't want to hurt nobody, okay? Drop it like a joke. Anyway.
No.
So what Adila describes, that's what's going on. Majority in chapter 4 is just like the inception of this club night, which ends up being called Freaky Fridays. That's the official name of it. And this chapter is when we get introduced to Amina's guy, who's not her guy.
I love this sub story. Okay. Like, I think I like it right now. I like it a lot more than the actual story.
Absolutely.
Because Kofi is like clearly all over Amina.
Listen.
And she's pretending to pay him no mind. But it's like, girl,
pay him mind. He's there. He clearly likes you. He's the kind of guy who's just like, damn, what can I do to get this girl's attention? You know what I mean? And she's just like, I like you, but I can't show you all, but I like you.
Like, I don't even know why she's doing all that. I cannot even lie to you. Like, I don't know why she's pretending. Because the way they describe, not that I'm going to lie to you, well, the way they describe the guys at school, they all sound awful. And maybe that's why I'm like, nah, just get with Kofi. He sounds great. Bare minimum. I was like, yo, honestly, he's a DJ. He plays some tunes,
I know. I'm in the camp of girls who just like, if a guy sort of shows actions that show me that he likes me, who am I to like pretend? You know what I mean? I've been single for a long time. And so if a man shows interest in me, and I kind of like them, I'm gonna have some fun with them.
I mean, I guess, but
don't waste no time.
I see it both ways. Like, I don't think we should waste time, especially in these days.
Listen,
it's bleak out here.
Scarce.
But maybe Amina's playing a long game that we'll realize evidently what she's trying to do. Also, I think sometimes the chase is just fun and she's enjoying it. I'm sure Kofi's enjoying it to a certain extent as well, but they're clearly, something's happening somewhere, even if she doesn't want to say it. But when they get to the party, Amina goes off with Kofi, and Kiki starts her rounds like a hall monitor, which is a little weird. But then she bumps into her like arch nemesis, Simi. Simi runs a. It's like
a similar like radio show, right?
I don't know if it's a radio show, but it feels like what's his name? What's that guy's name that nobody likes anymore? Like
Paris.
Yes. It feels
Y'all
like
know what
she
blog I'm talking
runs
about?
TMZ.
Yeah. Yeah, she writes a blog along
Yeah.
those lines.
And from what she describes, like she's just saying who's with who got caught with who's
Yeah.
doing what with who. And so they're going back and forth, shading each other because
Mm-hmm.
she catches Simi trying to get these first years not to sit, first years or freshmen not to sit um, on this one designated chair. Because again, it's like the student union lounge. And for those of us who know, even if you have a club night there, there's no VIP section.
No.
Like the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking of our university, and I was like, I can't imagine somebody trying to do VIP in that place. Like there wasn't even chairs, to be honest. But I was just like, why you cannot be doing this? And she basically tells her Simi to leave the girls alone, let them do. But at that point, from what she describes, the freshmen already have a certain fear of her or an admiration because they know Simi runs this blog.
Yep.
Even though they kind of admire Kiki as well for brown sugar, but it's different. You want to be cool at the end of the day, so that's just what it is.
And I guess like if you're a freshman coming into a university as prestigious as this one is describing, you want to associate yourself with the big honchos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be around the people who are going to lift you up in, I guess, like societal capital or whatever it is. And Simi is that person. I think they describe her as somebody who's going to make or break you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that Kiki still has some form of reputation or respect within the school community, even though her and Simi don't get along. They don't see eye to eye at all. So there are these two people, I guess, like on opposite ends.
I think it also has a lot to do with one, her radio show, and then also the way Bolu writes her, and she talks about herself is like she's unattainable to not just the guys but the girls because she puts up such a front. So it's almost like you're interested by the mystique of who Kiki is. And again, she tries to stay neutral so she can navigate this world she has, which kind of comes around because again, she's like on hall monitor patrol, and she sees, which I think is honestly the worst thing.
Why?
You as a woman can do for yourself.
Which is?
Arguing with another woman about a guy.
Listen.
In the middle of doing domestics in the middle of anywhere. A grocery store, a church, a party, a class. No! Just no. Don't do that. That is so, as a bystander, I'd be like, ooh, drama, because that's who I am as a person. But I would never want to be in that situation. I don't think anybody should be in that situation. But Kiki finds that situation happening at her club night. And of course, who's at the middle? Who are we fighting over? Malachi Corday. And the man does not even look like he's concerned by what's happening here.
So essentially how I saw the scenes is like now everybody's watching these two girls going head to head to head. I think maybe they're spinning a few things here and there, and Malachi's right in the center. And I like how Bao's describing Malachi's reaction to how these women are, interacting with each other. He was very calm. He's very cool and collected. He's not saying none of that. He's just there like okay, And I think as like he's doing all these activities, and like my girl Kiki's like out here taking notes, just like, so he's a real player. You know what I mean? Like he got them under his control, because he was not shifting at all. I don't even think he did any form of like facial expression. He was just there listening.
I still want to know what he said to the girls.
Yes.
To make them stop fighting. Because, so again, it was two girls from different camps here.
Yeah.
We have the one girl who she describes as the resident blogging queen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one who's really confronting him, asking him, do I have mug on my forehead? Love the Brits when they use their little words, mug on my forehead. And she's clapping her hands. And then, weirdly enough, the girl that she's arguing with is described as like, she's very zen, very natural. Like it's giving Erykah Badu.
I was thinking the exact same person.
So it made me think, I was like, okay, so it's like Erykah Badu and I don't even know, like Nicki Minaj going back and forth.
Can you imagine?
Because she describes the vlog me, she got her long Brazilian or Peruvian, she's got her acrylics
Yeah.
on, and then you got the other one with locks, Chi Chi, that's what she called Chi Chi, with her locks and her septum piercing, and she's ahead of the incense and almond milk babes, who I lovingly dubbed the vegan cupcakes, which I love. Vegan cupcakes. And then that's the thing, because she's describing both women as like the leader of their group, which I also think is ridiculous. You should have leaders of your groups. But anyways, but if you're these like top women, you're going back and forth over this man. It's weird, but he just goes over to them, whispers something that nobody else can hear, and suddenly it's like they're sister wives. They're fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what did he say? What magic does he hold?
And that's what scared me, because as they're going through each emotion of that scene, I was thinking to myself, this man, and they describe him as a demon, a fine demon, because that is demonic behavior. It really is. To have two women out there rat-a-tat at each other, and you just say one thing, whisper here, and actually both these women start to like just smile at each other like nothing happened, and they go back to like their separate groups. Right. It's poisonous. That's what it is. It's poisonous. It is. Don't dangerous. ever find yourself in a situation like that.
The funny thing is, as the fight's going on, this man is looking at Kiki. Mm-hmm. His whole time his face is on Kikiola. They're making eye contact. They're basically having sex with their eyes. Amina says that's what's happening.
There's a connection right there.
And I believe Amina. Amina's never lied to me. And what I love is that she describes Malachi as having an R&B smile with her. Oh. And
listen. Can we? Is this a safe space?
This is a safe space.
This is a safe space. An R&B smile. Nah, that is $1 million right there. Because as somebody who loves R&B, both old and the new, contemporary, it's not dead, y'all. It's still there. It's still out there.
It's coming.
It's still out there. I can see his smile when I read that particular sentence. I can see. I'm thinking D'Angelo. You know what I mean? I'm thinking Maxwell. I'm thinking everybody, and it made me smile.
Funny enough, I didn't think R&B artists. I thought of Lorenz Tate.
Not Lorenz in Love Jones.
Yeah.
It's old. That scene when he goes up and he's like reading a poem for Nina. Oh, yeah, on their first meeting. And he was giving her eye contact. He literally met her seconds ago. He goes up there and does this freestyle poem for you. Oh, I'm sold.
Why have we never been to a poetry jam or poetry
Let's
club?
go.
Do those exist?
I think they do. And just go there and you snap your fingers and word.
I don't like poetry like that.
I do.
Okay.
So, we should make a trip there. But you're right. It actually does remind me of that scene as well.
Yeah.
Like it's very romantic. It's very old school. Like, this is why we're doing the show, you guys, because deep inside my cold heart,
right,
I really do love these type of interactions. So I'm
sold. She's saying her heart's kind of warm, actually.
Lukewarm, tepid. Anyway.
But he's making eyes at her. She's making eyes at him. Amina's seeing the eyes going back and forth. My girl Kikiola is still trying to act like she doesn't know what's going on. And, like a shadow when the sun is out, a cloud trying to block the sun. Who comes up other than, quote unquote, my guy?
Listen.
And this part upset me. Because we find out my guy is no other than Zachary, the president of the ACS.
What I tell you about these biblical names? His name is actually Zach, but his full name could be Zachary.
It is Zachary. It's Zachary in the book.
And I think they describe him, like you said, light-skinned, half English, half Nigerian, I believe.
I don't remember what his half black is.
Well, I'm assuming that he's half English, half Nigerian. English meaning white. So he comes up to our good sis Kiki, talking about, look at me trying to do like an English accent. I can't. I'm not going to do it. But in my mind, I'm assuming like he's just, like someone who has no swag, but the thing they do is just sliding up to her, saying that, oh, are you mad? Are you upset? Why'd you leave? Is that what he was asking her?
I think basically because he's an asshole, he doesn't realize that she was serious when she said she didn't want to mess with him anymore.
Boom.
Because when she left his room and she was like, it's not good, this man's asking me, do I like it? And he's just pinching me. Like,
yeah.
she she was like, I'm not coming back here. This is done. And I don't think he's ever had someone be as serious, but he's someone who likes the chase. He likes that she doesn't like him. And he thinks that she likes that she's disgusted by him.
Yep.
But the way she describes it, she chose him because, yeah, he's hot, like, visually, but she's so sure because she's so unattracted to everything else about him that she's not going to fall in love with him. And that was good enough for her at the time. She's not proud of it, but that was her reasoning. But this man, I don't even think he likes her either. He just doesn't like the fact that she doesn't like him.
Yep.
And it's his birthday or something. So they made up this fake VIP section, him and his group. And he's cornered her in one small corner of the room, has her back to the wall. He's not letting up, talking about, you want this, la da da. And she's going back and forth with him, trading insults, and he's just laughing. I think what she says, what is it? Oh, the prick? Like,
love that. Now this interaction was just like, she's just like, you're a dickhead, and he says you're in denial. Like, sir, please, did you listen to me, respect me? I'm telling you, get away from me.
Like, he's actually very gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a gross person. But then what upsets me about this idiot is the fact that it's the way he describes her in the end that leads to the rest of the actions. He basically says that she's ugly, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he was lowering his standards to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what you want to hear ever, especially for your main girl. And there's layers to it. This light-skinned guy telling this dark-skinned woman that she's not up to his standards, and it kind of plays into the fact that they're sneaking around to even begin with. So I was kind of shocked that he even made up a scene in the middle of the club night.
Yeah.
Funny enough, all this is happening, and there's only one pair of eyes that's looking at her, and
the eyes.
It's Malachi. And he's just doing what he's doing. He's surveying the area.
Yeah, Malachi is what he's an observer, you know what I mean? He kind of reads what's going on, and I guess as somebody who I'm assuming is probably like a playboy, a little bit of a manipulator here and there, he tries to see what can I digest to now use it to my advantage to get what I want or what I think I want.
Yeah.
So as this interaction is happening between Zachary and Kiki, I think he says that Zachary told Kiki that this is charity.
Charity.
That's what he said. Can you imagine a man telling you that?
She's better than me because I might start cussing you out. I might start fighting, but I understand she's trying not to make a scene. But that is so disrespectful.
Rude. Absolutely rude.
Charity.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have cried right there and then. There's no, I'm going home. I don't care if it's my party. I don't care if it's my event. I'm off. I'm out of here. I would have found
something about you that's ugly. I don't care if you look like literal Idris Elba that day. I will find something.
Yeah.
We will be straying. We will be going back and forth. I do not care. But she does something that I would not do because I'm not brave enough to do that.
Now, what does she do, Delia?
She decides she's going to storm across the room and go up to Malachi. And this is where I was like, this is a little high school, Okay. It's giving a little CW. It's giving Riverdale. But she storms up to Malachi and he goes, what do you need? Be for real. And then she's like, kiss me.
And what do? They kiss.
Okay. And they don't just kiss.
They make out, kiss. Okay? Exchanging DNA. That's how it's described. Very sloppy, very tongue in, very, just hot and wet. That's what it's being described as, hot and wet. In these few moments, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is cute. Our two, our two lovers are having this very cute interaction, very intense. And did I like it?
Did you like it? Why don't you let us know?
I guess we'll never know.
everyone was just shocked it was happening, and you can tell everybody's looking around and they're like, and before she says it, you know it because you're like, didn't you tell every girl in school to stay away from this man that you're lip syncing in the middle of the party, who, mind you, was just arguing with two other girls about an hour ago. So you know it's a man, so you added yourself and you claim to be this neutral to all this mess, and you're just like...
And I'm, to her defense, Adelia, this half Nigerian, half Englishman. I'm sorry, I have to point it out because sometimes when you are, and I'm assuming he's biracial, when you're light skinned, when you have this privilege, you think that you can just say anything you want.
That's true.
This man just says, "I was doing you a favor. This is charity." I don't know I don't know how I'd react in that moment. I might have just walked up to Malachi and say, "Malachi, you know what? Give me the hottest, wettest kiss that you got, so I can make him feel a certain way." Yes, I wouldn't do it, obviously.
You absolutely would not do that.
I would not do that. But I'm assuming, like, because she's fuming in that moment, because, I mean, this man just told you some wild shit. Like, that's rude. That's absolutely rude. No matter who you're talking to, like, please have some respect. So, she's trying to, I guess, make Zachary feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Or make him jealous. I don't think he was jealous, though.
I don't think he was jealous, but if a man just said, like, "Oh, I'm doing charity work,"
mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you know that you're not the only one who wants this, and I don't have to be with you. And the thing is, at this point, she's told him several times she does not need him, she does not want him.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that he's offering that is worthwhile to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need for him to even be cornering her at the party. But he's there and acting like he's doing her a favor. So I get why she does it. I just think she's done it in the messiest way possible. But you know what? At the end of the day, we need the story to move along. But now she's made enemies. And not only is she kissing at this party and everybody's seeing her, Simi, who's used the freshmen at the party to be her spies, has decided to post on her, what is that man's name? Something Perez. He's not a good person.
Oh, Perez Hilton. Yeah.
So her little Paris Hilton blog talking about, brown sugar.
We just found, this Kiki girl screwed up with this man that she's telling y'all to stay away from. Well, she said it so she can have him for herself. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what it's coming. She's coming across as a hypocrite, which gets thrown a lot in the interaction, even when she's having with Malachi for the first time where they're having actually a conversation. So.
Yeah, because they go to the corner eventually to have a talk, and like you said, this talk of being a hypocrite, because she's trying to tell him that he's a playboy and he's not a good person because he's playing all these girls.
Mm-hmm.
And his defense is like, I've never not once said that I was dating any of these women. I never claimed any of them were my girlfriend. I'm simply just dating. And they knew that, and I knew that, and so there's no need for them to ever get worked up about the situation. And technically, it's not anything different from what you're doing, Kiki, because were you not just... Did I not meet you coming out of Zach's room?
Ooh.
And now you're here kissing up on me, trying to upset the very same Zach. So what's the difference between you and me?
Listen, there's no difference. She is a hypocrite in that sense.
I don't know if she's a hypocrite, though.
I feel like but I'm still thinking about, like, you're in the heat of a moment, you know what I mean? Someone has just insulted you badly. I feel like in that situation you don't know how you're gonna react, but it does slightly come across as hypocritical if she continues to, like, well, we're gonna see with the interaction that they have at Cuffing Corner or whatever it's called.
Right. I don't even think that it's hypocritical, because she, from what we understand so far, she's only been with Zach in the context of the book. Of what we've met for. She's not dating anybody else on campus. Whereas this man has obviously been talking to different girls on campus. And yeah, to a certain extent, you can be like, oh, I'm just dating. But I feel like that's a cop-out a lot of guys like to use.
Yeah.
But if you haven't invested emotional time with this person, like, I also do think sometimes girls put all their eggs in one basket and then get their feelings hurt. And again, like, the way she describes it, it's a small pool of people on this campus, a small group of black people, and if we're all gunning for the same guy, and every other guy seems to be rotten as F, and you're just like, trying to find, there's a new person and everybody's gunning for the same person. But I just feel like he didn't need to be dating Erica Badu and Nicki Minaj. Like he could have maybe tried out Nicki and then gone to Erica. I don't know. That
No,
would be me.
he wants both of them because he wants to feel important or wanted in that sense. Because I also like he was when Kiki actually brought this up to him when they were having the little conversation. I guess this is when after the kiss, you know, I mean, everything has settled down a little bit. You know, they started having a little chit chat, and he says, "Well, you know, they know what I was doing. Like I was not leading them on in any way." But I'm just like, "But you took the girls to Nando's." You know what I mean? Like they caught you at the mall.
Nando's.
They caught you at the mall with them. And for me, it's just like, okay, so you told them directly, I'm not looking for anything serious. It's not gonna be, you know, no relationship or whatever. But every day it's a quarter chicken with chips. You know what I mean? Like you're doing something. You're making them see something that you're being dishonest. That's what you are. You're being dishonest.
Because I think even Vegan Cupcake says that he took her to like the best vegan restaurant in town.
Do you see that?
But again, it's like, but they're also just dating. Like you want to date people, you want to go out. Like if I go with one guy today and we go to this restaurant, I go out with this guy tomorrow. I'm just surveying what's out there.
But you know the way Malachi is being described is that he's a smooth talker. Now he's taking you to vegan donuts or whatever, and he's probably having a conversation with you, and he's probably saying some things that are sweet. You know what I mean? They just smell so good. I would be tricked because it's love bombing. I feel like it's blurry.
Can I be honest? I was already tricked. I'm sorry.
And that's why we're here.
Like he was talking, I was like, no, I get it, no, for sure.
No,
for
we're done.
Yeah, no, I get it.
One thing about a man, he's going to just derail you. Look at you. Look at
He's
you.
not even real. That's the
exactly.
part.
But he's not real. But there are guys like him. Yeah. For 100%. I think he's a love bomber. I think that's what he is.
I think you know what? I think he's charming.
Mm-hmm.
But because I know him and Kiki got the honey and the spice.
Okay.
I think he's a little more genuine with her. He makes it very clear with her that he wants to see where this goes. He's been thinking about her.
From that one interaction. See, that's what will trip me off a little bit. I said,
Love
okay, so you
sight.
saw my eyes. I don't believe in that. So you saw my eyes? Well, in real life, in the books, yeah. But
okay, so there's love at first sight.
I don't think it was love at first sight. I think it was more of like, oh, you're kind of cute. I've never seen you before. I'm curious. But I wouldn't say like, oh, you know, like head over heels, like I can't, whatever. Because he said, well, I've been wanting to know you. I've been wanting to talk to you. And that's why there's that whole like eye porn, sorry, between both of them at the party. You know what I mean? Like I think he was trying to find like, how can I insert myself into her space? And I know there's a lot of people around her and whatever is going on. But for that one interaction, you're saying you want to know me, like. But then now it's time to think to myself back to chapter 3 where we get introduced to Dr. Miller as the competition. Him being the other extraordinary student. Yeah. So I guess like maybe even he had an idea from Dr. Miller who Kiki's about. So maybe I'm missing a context here. So that's how I'm picking it up right now. Just clicked in my head.
I just don't think that. I think he genuinely liked her because the way he describes her, he's like, I liked you, I liked our convo, then I heard what you said about me on the radio, which is why he starts the whole conversation of whether he's a hypocrite or not, or if he's a player, because she describes him as a player and he's like, I didn't appreciate that. Now you have girls I have to answer to for my actions. But I don't know. I think there was, if you don't want to call it love at first sight, there was something there. And they both felt it because my girl's been thinking about him. She's been asking around about him. Mm-hmm. Every time she talks about him, she describes him as fine as he is. Mm-hmm. And that's just, that's just the way a cookie crumbles. But I do think there's something there which makes you think, dang, things are going so good so quickly.
Yep.
And that's when Amina leaves her man that's not her man, Kofi, and joins us at the what's it called, the cuffing corner.
The cuffing corner.
Ridiculous name.
Listen, I too would be in the cuffing corner.
No.
Just like put my legs over a man's lap and be like, mm-hmm.
Also, how do you guys talk in those loud ass places? I never.
You have to stand close to each other.
I still can't hear. I think my hearing. You know, a lot of years of headphones and earphones
killed it.
There is no yelling at me in a loud club. Like, I'm not going to hear anything.
That's
so I don't
true.
understand how they hear each other. That's what shocked me the most.
I feel like when you're interested in somebody, maybe all your other senses just collapse and you just like focus on that one voice that's coming out of those fine lips that I'm pretty sure that he has. And actually what I liked about them being close like that is they had a little banter. It's cute. It's cute. You know what I mean? They'll go back and forth. They're insulting each other, but in a very flirtatious, friendly way.
Right.
I think that is hot. I feel like when I think about myself, like sparking a connection with somebody, if we're able to go back and forth like that, and even when I think he mispronounces her name or calls her something else, she just like,
he
okay,
gives her the fake names that she used.
Yeah, and she just like, okay, I see you. You're coming back at me.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of, I think it keeps her on her tippy toes and keeps him on his tippy toes too. So there's curiosity going on. I like it. I
think that's also like a testament to Bolu's writing, just because it's kind of like she gives the readers what they want. Because for the same way, like, you want that banter when you're flirting.
Absolutely.
Like, you want to be able to know that you can joke a little with the person that you like. So I think she's really catering to her audience in that way.
Yeah.
But again, it's going too well. Too many laughs, too many touchies.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Dive in there. Come on now.
But we still have several chapters to go.
That's true. We're early, but hey, they kissed. They've been
kissing.
Yes, they have. And I think when they're even getting closer, Amina pops out of the blue
with a very important message.
Yep.
The girls in this school act fast.
Too fast.
They saw that post by Simi and said, "Girl, let me unfollow." They said canceled. Hashtag canceled. Brown sugar. Hashtag cancel brown sugar, because Kiki's out here kissing the man that we all want. And you know what? I was like, maybe we need to grow up. I don't know.
I think that was so immature. Also, why am I losing followers?
And so quickly.
Yeah, like, what is this?
I was just like,
this small little thing. Like, I know, like, I mean, because I guess they're in a bubble. Like, I remember when I was in university, I feel like I was just in the bubble and everything was just there. Like, outside world doesn't really matter. So maybe it looks crazy to us, but for them, maybe it's a big deal. But still, losing 50 or whatever so followers all because she went ahead and kissed that man is ridiculous. But it also speaks to how there's not really much of a strong sisterhood amongst these like groups of women, which I don't like, but I feel like to add drama to the story, to make the plot a little bit more interesting, I guess like Balu just had to add those few elements inside of it.
I feel like, there's no strong sisterhood, but if you sit back for 3 seconds and you really think about it, in the world of Twitter,
no,
where every day you see two women fighting over a man, some celebrity and some other girl talking about how she's sleeping with her man, or you see women trying to up each other on who's cleanest, how to keep a man. You would think that feminism has not been invented yet. Like, I'm not shocked at the behavior that's taking place here. Because even if, let's say, Kiki's plan was to keep everybody off her man and she was playing all of you, you lost. And that's okay. That doesn't change any of the things that she said, but you guys are that vexed about it that you have to unfollow. As if unfollowing him is somehow going to give you the man in return. Like,
you're right, because I know my place. If there was one fine man in this room right now and there were 5 girls and we all try and get to this man, if this man says, no, I want this one here, I'm not going to start acting. I can't embarrass myself. That's just me. I just can't do it. I have too much pride and I have an ego. So you chose her. Great, that's good for you, King. I might cry about it that night and think like, oh my god, I'm hideous. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna
Not
find
hideous.
nobody.
No,
that was
I
the
get
last
it.
good black man around. Like that's how I feel. But then I would never go out of my way to talk about y'all need to go beat that girl after school because she kissed a man that's supposed to be with me. Like that's ridiculous.
That's another thing. Their friends are, I don't know if it's good friends or blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
Because he might have played the leader of the vegan cupcakes. Now all the vegan cupcakes got on follow. What the hell is my favorite show? Like, I'm not following for you. I'm sorry. Like, I really enjoy Brown Sugar. I'm not following. If you don't want to listen, that's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, Kiki needs the following because she just talked about applying for this this program, and they're going to be looking at her show, how many people have pulled, and if it's going down instead of going up, then what does that say about what's happening?
Yeah.
So Mina comes up with the idea that we saw coming when she originally talked to Dr. Miller, was to bring Malachi on the show to offer a different perspective on dating. Kind of like a Mr. and Mrs. situation.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you see it coming, you're like, yeah, I know for sure. But then at this point, Kiki just basically insults Malachi. I don't remember what she says exactly or what he says, but they hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah.
And they had just taken like 3 steps forward and somehow taken 5 steps back.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth
Name calling.
Yeah, in between Amina. And it's just like, it's not pleasant. And they both declare, first of all, Kiki's all about, I'm never going to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, girl.
We got a couple more chapters left, so you definitely going to see Malachi.
You're going to see him in class, apparently. You're probably going to see him in the studio.
Yep. You're probably going to work on some group projects together. Sorry, girl.
Exactly.
It's settled.
And the thing is, Malachi seems so much more hurt by the situation.
Yeah.
But I think it's because Kiki's also very good at putting up her wall and pretending.
Yeah, because like as they were, when Amina brings that whole like news about, we lost the followers, see me saying da 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 da, and like she started getting upset and like throwing all those words at him. He's like, oh, so we're going back to like you being this way. You can clearly see that he was hurt. And he was particularly hurt because like he was really, when they were doing a little banter before Amina stepped in, he was making all kinds of like comments about like how pretty she is as well.
Right.
There was one particular one that got me, y'all. It got me. It was so cute. I think he was talking about her smile and saying like how like her smile is mad. I guess like that's slang for like, I don't know. Like it's like, I don't know.
Wait, what line was it? I don't know this one.
Let me find it. I think it's okay, here. So he's talking about her smile. He said that smile is, you're an assassin because her smile is so pretty. And just like, have you seen your fucking smile? You can make a man do anything with that shit. You're a straight up villain. You see that? Because of her smile. Like, I think now, I'm going to retract what I said before. I think he likes her. For sure. Sorry, Ardelia. He's sorry.
Oh my god, you just found out that he likes her?
Yeah.
Oh
Listen,
my goodness, Hannah, who would have thought it?
I am a slow learner, but I learn. I think that's really cute. He definitely is. I think he's definitely trying to be a little bit softer with her so that she can like put down her walls and be like, hey, like I'm not this player, this asshole you make me to be, or what you told these girls about. I still want to know what you told to Chioma and whoever, the vegan babe. But we move. And also, this is where we find out that Malachi is friends with Kofi.
Right.
Yeah, it just clicked in my head right now. So I think Malachi knows, or maybe him and Kofi have talked about how Amina behaves.
Yes.
Like, she's playing a little hard to get. And I think like he would be gassed up if Amina could like, return the favor and like, give the boy a chance. So are you seeing double dates? Because I am about to book a reservation at the fanciest restaurant. Kofi, Malachi, Amina, and Kiki. Girl. Ain't that cute?
All you're going to see here is Kofi playing his mixes and the songs that he wrote. Kiki and Malachi arguing.
Yeah.
And maybe a shady comment or two from Amina. Who, by the way, it seems like Amina's quite... she's reserved with Malachi.
Yeah.
Like, she knows Kiki likes him, but she's not about to just roll out the carpet, like, and be nice. Which I think is what most friends should do.
Yeah.
Like, let me see you prove yourself. But one thing though is Amina said, I still need this radio show to complete my course. So you're gonna
Absolutely.
come on the show, and I imagine the next chapter she's gonna tell Kiki to put on her big girl pants and get over herself and have this
Yep.
man come on. But yeah, but I imagine Malachi's gonna help Kofi finally get the girl. I think they said they went to like high school or so together, so
Yeah.
they knew each other before university.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not seeing double date just yet.
A couple more chapters and I'm gonna get it. Maybe it'll
like,
be Nando's. Who knows? I wonder where they plan to go.
I'm sure rich people go to more places than that.
Well, I can't think of any other place, okay? The local fish and fry. I think after that, I think that's it. I think we started calling each other bad names. It was awful. I was like, damn. But it's okay. I am a true lover of enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
So this fits right into what I like. So I'm really excited to see how everything progresses. I cannot wait for that big conflict that's probably going to come in the middle of the book, and how my couple makes it past it. I'm looking forward to more surprises, and I'm looking forward for Simi to see her maker. You know what I mean? She's rude. She's a rude one.
I don't even think Simi's my main problem. I think Zach is. Zachary, I need him to suffer in some way. Like, I just need him to be embarrassed. I hate when men have big heads. Like, why do you feel so big about yourself? Like, what do you do exactly? Like, I don't. Anyways, but I'm excited to see that. I feel like there's gonna be a moment between Malachi and Zach. Like maybe a little squabble.
Pistols at dawn. I'm excited. You know what's giving? It's giving Bridgerton.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, of course you did. This cold heart is getting warm right now. But you know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Season 1 with Reggie Jean Page
and
Anthony saying that, yeah, let's do it. I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. A little bit of macho. It's good. Just in small amounts though, so I don't mind it.
I guess, but I think because it's Zachary, I won't mind because he seems like he's. Some people move around this earth like they don't have fear someone's gonna punch them. Yeah. And I feel like once that's happened to him, he might change a little. It's either that or he just leaves Kiki alone. That would be better. I'm excited to see what the radio show becomes when Malachi finally joins it. And if that picks up more viewers, maybe the viewers she lost in girls, she'll gain in guys.
Yeah.
One last thing is I want to mention is like Malachi describes Kiki as like when she's kissing, all the guys are kissing him, all the guys are cheering. Mm-hmm. Because it's not that nobody wants to be with her, it's that they're afraid of her. Because she can see right through their BS. Yeah. And Malachi tells Kiki that, and it makes you think that he himself, he knows that, and he thinks he's either able to make sure his BS doesn't stink. Yeah. And like he's able to fool her, or he thinks he's coming out his most authentic self. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. Because he does not have no feelings about her or afraid of her, of approaching her at all. I mean, neither does Zach, but hey, what are we going to do about that?
I'm assuming as the chapters go along, he's going to grow more fond and maybe like respect her a little bit more. Yeah. As time goes by. I know I'm the kind of person who I would prefer a man to really, really respect me over be infatuated with me or whatever. Because it makes me feel comfortable in my own skin. It makes me feel like I can tell you anything and you can, you can play back with me. Right. So I'm glad, I'm happy to see that, they're a little bit of enemy right now because it makes things a little bit exciting. But yeah, let's see how our lovers end up navigating this newfound encounter.
It should be interesting. I have a question. Do you have a face in mind when you're thinking of Malachi?
Absolutely.
What's yours? I'll tell you mine.
Okay, so when I think of the King Malachi, I think of the one and only Yolande Noel from Insecure. But I'm thinking of a much taller Yolande and a much almost slimmer Yolande. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of that's the first thing that pops in my head. Who are you thinking of?
Kofi Cerebo.
So I thought about Kofi, but I said, I like Yolande a little bit more. I've always loved that man. Anyway, oh, Insecure. They're all from Insecure. Any
Oh my
black
God, Kobe
man.
wasn't Insecure.
Exactly.
Oh, he was like, but he was in it for so short. Like,
He
and it was
was.
at the last.
And he was kind of annoying.
Season?
He was in the last. He was in the last. I think the second to last season, and the last season, like it's maybe
Yeah,
spilled
he had
over.
the art.
Yeah, the artsy.
That was low-key stressful for me. But yeah, I'm thinking Kofi, not in Insecure actually. Hana doesn't watch the show, but Kofi as Ralph Angel in Queen Sugar.
Mm.
Or Kofi as the artist guy in that Netflix movie. I don't remember the name.
Oh, Love something.
Yeah.
Love Always or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make that much noise outside of like the 1-2 gifs on Tumblr, but you know, I liked it. It was
cute. Really loved. I think that's what it's called.
Yes,
yeah, it was there. It was cute. Yeah, no problem.
They really need to go back to actually making romantic like comedies and movies, putting more like love into them. Like I don't know.
I know. Like I don't want this big old conflict. Your mama don't like you because you're this and that, and you're a bum. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
Not a bum.
Yes, a bum. Like I want love through and through from beginning to end, and the conflict should be something small. Like you didn't wash dishes.
No, girl. You're obviously not gonna get that. So there's that.
No.
But I see Kofi Suru. I don't know who I see as Kiki. But I do know who I see as Amina.
Who?
I don't know her name, but she plays the best friend in Dear White People. I know her name.
Oh, the one who got engaged.
Yes.
What is her name? Oof, I can't remember, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, I really feel like her and her love interest could make sense. You know what I mean?
No, but I don't see Kofi as that guy from Dear White People.
No. Kofi. I'm thinking Kofi is more of like very awkward, very in his little space, very artsy,
like
but also
like taller than him, maybe like an inch, just an inch.
Kofi is definitely short, but we like our short kings too here, okay?
Or maybe we should give Kofi more short. We'll see what comes to me in the later chapters. Just give him a little more credit than what he's got, but
yeah. Anyway, Black love, y'all. That's what we're here for. I really enjoyed reading the first 7 chapters. I'm really excited to see what's up next. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the next episode, I think we're going to be focusing on... I think did we only do 7?
We just did the first 7 chapters, so we're going to do chapters 8 all the way until
14.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah, to 14.
So catch us next time as we delve back into the book and we find out more about our 2 main characters. We find out maybe Kofi finally begs Amina, takes her to Nando's.
Absolutely. And of course, let us know what you think. If you're following along, if you've read the book, please let us know. We want to get as many engagements here. Think of it as your book club. For Black love.
Virtual book club. I like that.
Exactly.
Like that.
So let us know what y'all think. And we will be back next week.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.